start with the big question that's being asked. Who will win the matchup between India and Pakistan? Joining me now is the one and only legendary Sunil Gavaskar. Join me. Appreciate your joining us. Veteran of many an Indo-Pak battle over the years. But I must ask you this. Going into this match, can we say with real confidence, India goes in as clear favourites for once?
Favourites for sure. For the simple reason they've played some top-class cricket in the first two matches that we've seen. In the first match, the recovery after losing 3 wickets for just 2 runs to go on to win the game. The way their bowlers bowled to restrict a good batting lineup, Australian batting lineup, 200. Then again, against Afghanistan, towards the last 10-12 overs when they restricted Afghanistan from getting to 300. And then, of course, Rohit Sharma's 100 and Kohli continuing his form with 2 back-to-back half-centuries. I do believe India certainly are the favourites.
Let's look at man-to-man, if we can. The openers first. There's a possibility Shubman Gill will play. It's still uncertain. He's gone back into nets. But either way, our top order, Rohit Sharma, Shubman or Ishan if he plays, Virat Kohli, again in good form, Shreyas Iyer, not yet tested, and then KL Rahul with a terrific innings in the first game. Do you believe that we have, let's compare that to the Pakistani batting lineup. Who do you think has the stronger top 5?
I would imagine that, the batting lineup is pretty much even Stevens, despite the fact that Babar Azam hasn't scored runs in the first 2 games. Imam hasn't scored the runs. But Abdullah Shafiq batted really well after Pakistan lost those 2 wickets. And Rizwan at number 4 has been top class. Even in the warm-up game, he got 100 against New Zealand. Here again, in a tough situation, scoring 100. So yes, I think the top 4-5 are pretty much even Stevens, excepting, I think, for the form that Rohit Sharma showed, scoring 130, and the form Kohli has shown. So yes, I think maybe just a little bit as far as India is concerned, looking at the form. But all the batters, whether it's Pakistani or Indian, capable of turning up on the day and scoring big runs.
You mentioned Rohit and Kohli, and many believe that what you need in an India-Pakistan match is people with experience, who've got the idea of how to deal with pressure. Do you believe that gives a huge edge when you have 2 players in form, in home conditions, proven on the big stage, versus the Pakistanis? Relatively, most of their players are new with the exception of Babar Azam, gives India a huge edge.
That definitely does, because what the experience tells you, as we saw in that partnership between KL Rahul and Virat Kohli, after India had lost 3 wickets for 2, the Australians were right on top, was the way they built that partnership. Kohli going and telling Rahul, play this like a test match, because there is the new ball available both ends. The ball was doing something. So yes, it would be caution for the moment. It wasn't that India was chasing 299. Then it might have been, no, let's get going. Or 199, less than 4 runs and over. All it needed was to make sure in the next maybe 3-4 overs, no wicket fell. Then you could, pick the runs off, because frankly, what we have seen is Australia has got these wonderful 3 new ball bowlers. After that, their bowling is easy to pick runs off. So it's a matter of, playing it smartly, which is what they did. And how does one play smartly? With experience. So I think with the experience that the Indian team has, certainly I think they hold the edge.
I wanted to ask you one question always. Virat Kohli running between the wickets. You were a great proponent of having batsmen who could take the singles at the right time. Virat Kohli seems to take runs, even when he's 60, 70, he's running hard for the 2nd, 3rd run. Have you seen any Indian batsman run as hard as Virat Kohli for a sustained period of time?
Can't think of anybody apart from, say, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. But Dhoni, of course, was batting down the order. Both of them, superb runners between the... But it's not just the running between the wickets. It's the ability to sense when you can steal a single. You can run between the wickets if you have the speed. But to be able to judge who's the fielder, which hand is he going to throw, and therefore is there a risk in going for that run, that is what separates Kohli and Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Because they knew whether it was a risk worth taking. And then they knew that even if it was a risk worth taking, they had the speed to be able to get into the crease.
And it's not just Kohli. KL Rahul, top form. The 2 late cuts he played of Zampa in the match reminded me of the great G.R. Vishwanath at his best.
Absolutely.
Do you sense that KL Rahul has arrived in that sense? He's had a lot of criticism, particularly in the red ball game. But in white ball, he's in top form. So that gives us batting depth.
Of course, at number 5, if you have somebody like him, and that is also a huge advantage when you talk about Rahul at 5, because he's an opening batsman at heart. So even if 3 wickets went, like it went against Australia, you had an opening batter coming into bat at number 5. So he could play the moving ball and then build the innings together. And he's been in some unbelievable form. Look, he was out of the game for about 3-4 months after that injury he sustained in the IPL in May. And when you're at the peak of your cricketing sort of years, that's when you want to be back in action and then make up for the time that you missed. And he's making up for it. He's looking a completely relaxed player, completely different player, and that's good news for India.
On the other side, there's Babar Azam. I know you're a great fan of Babar Azam. Is he the kind of batsman who could score that big 100 and take the match away? That's the one player whom Pakistan has who can actually turn a match.
He can, he certainly can. What he would have been heartened by in the game against Sri Lanka is that despite him failing, he had batters who held the innings together. So that takes a huge load off him. Sometimes when you're the number 1 batter in the team, there is always that responsibility factor where you're thinking, no, I mustn't play this shot because if I get out, there's nobody down the order. So now he knows that there is a Rizwan who can come and hold the innings together. There's a South Shakil who can come in and hold the innings together. So I think that will take a lot of pressure off him. And he might be the man that could be the big run scorer against India.
That's the batsman, the bowlers. You've got Shaheen Shah Afridi, Haris Rauf, and Hassan Ali as their 3-pronged pace attack. Bumrah, Siraj, and possibly a Shami. Would you play him in a big match like Pakistan? Do you go all out with your 3 fast bowlers, or do you stick to what we did against the Australians, play 3 spinners, Ashwin, Jadeja, and Kuldeep?
I would pick Ashwin for the simple reason that there's South Shakil in the middle order. Now, he's been really the kind of player who's taken Pakistan from a situation where, dire situation to a safer situation. He's the guy that you need a clever bowler against. I'm not saying just because he's an off-spinner who'll turn the ball, against the left-hander. Ashwin is clever. Ashwin tests you mentally as well. And I would want to have him in the team because he can then keep the pressure and, if needed, at number 8, can give you those 20, 30 runs and have a partnership of 40 that can make a difference.
So you're saying play your 3 spinners, go with the 11 virtually that you went with against Australia, but the fast bowlers, do you sense that is, Pakistan always played with their pace attack as their strength. Haris Rauf is a very impressive bowler. Seems to have that old Pakistani jigger in him. Shaheen Shah Afridi slightly off form. Would you say for once, we are going into this match, Siraj Bumrah versus Shaheen Shah Afridi, Hassan Ali, possibly Haris Rauf, as actually the better pace attack as well, which is rare.
I mean, India has had a tremendous new ball attack for the last several years. And Bumrah coming back in the team has been a huge plus because he's now developed the late outswinger. He had the outswinger, but basically it was more in England than anywhere else. Now he's getting the ball to move away on Indian pitches. Look at the wickets he got in both these games. In the initial overs with the new ball, he's got the outswinger going and got the batters out. So he certainly is a big threat, possibly a bigger threat than the names that you mentioned. Haris Rauf, yes, he's got the speed, but it's the speed with which he's going off the bat at the moment. He's going for plenty. So that'll be a worry. Shaheen Shah Afridi hasn't quite got his rhythm. Hassan Ali will be there at you because, again, he's an experienced bowler. So he'll be there at you. But in terms of being a threat, the threat doesn't seem to be as much as if they were playing in, say, England, where there would be a lot more help for their bowlers.
In fact, since we are playing in India, 120,000 people, probably 119,900 will be Indians and about 100 Pakistanis. Does that give us a huge edge, or does that put extra pressure playing at home?
No, it gives you a huge edge because, that kind of support is unbelievable. Yes, what will happen is that there will be just a little bit of pressure when you're just walking in. But at the same time, when you walk in, you realize that everybody is for you. That is just going to ease the pressure on you. You realize that the pressure is going to be on the opposition.
So you're saying home conditions actually make because this has been, the last 3 World Cups, Mr. Gavaskar, has been won by the home team. Do you believe that, therefore, it works both ways? You have extra pressure, expectations, but also knowledge of the conditions. That will make a huge difference.
Absolutely, because you know what the pitch is going to do. You know what kind of dew there might be, because this is going to be a day-night game. So you know what kind of dew. Is it going to be a heavy dew, which will make a difference to your spinners gripping the ball, or even the fielders gripping the ball and throwing? Or is it just going to be light dew, where you can manage? So that how does that happen? Knowledge of home conditions. You also know which way the wind will be blowing. And so where do you keep, who bowls the 50th over, or who bowls that crucial 49th or the 50th over. So all those factors make a big, big difference. And that's why home advantage is what you got to capitalize on.
It's India versus Pakistan. I want to take you back in nostalgia. Your favorite India-Pakistan moment as a player?
Has got to be the World Championship final, where we beat them in Melbourne to win the World Championship of Cricket trophy. That's got to be the best, because before that we hadn't played against Pakistan in a world encounter. We would always be in different groups, and we wouldn't qualify.
But you had great friendships with the Pakistani cricketers off the field. So is there the pressure on the team when you're playing Pakistan, or once you're off the field, it's all very well? It's only on the field that the real battle takes place.
On the field. Because, you know, I mean, you're against anybody, not just Pakistan, anybody, you're playing for your country. So whatever friendship that is there you might have off the field, that just stays off the field. On the field, you're giving it everything. So no quarter given, no quarter asked for.
Your favorite Pakistani cricketer?
Well, I mean, there are several that I know. I would think that I'd like to think Zahir Abbas is somebody who I was part of the same team, rest of the world in Australia. So he and we have stayed friends for such a long time. So clearly, I think, yes, he would be the one now.
I want to tell our young viewers, Gavaskar versus Imran Khan. That was the classic battle. Still remember it?
Of course.
If you ever meet Imran Khan, he's the one who gave you your skull cap, or told you to wear a skull cap, that any ball could injure you. That must have been special, you versus Imran.
It was, because you knew you were playing against a world-class bowler who had pace, who could move the ball both ways. After he went to Australia in 1978 for the World Series cricket, then his action changed a little bit. From the chest-on bowler prior to 78, he suddenly became sideways on, and then, while he didn't quite get the outswinger, he was able to get the ball to at least straighten a little bit. So that made him even more dangerous.
So 5 bouncers and over sometimes at you, but off the field you were friends.
We were friends. I think we were friends because I think we hit off when he was qualifying for Worcester. And so India playing Worcester, we shared a lunch table together.
Final, India to make the finals of this World Cup and win the World Cup. I know you said it's a bit of luck when we met last, but you think India can make the finals as of now? Could it be another India-Pakistan final? Possibly?
Possibly, yes. I'm hoping it's an India to win the finals. I don't care who comes in from the other side, but India certainly has the team. India has the goods, and India look as if they have that fierce desire to bring the trophy home.
Well, on that positive note, Mr. Gavaskar, wonderful to have you here with us, setting the stage for the India-Pakistan big match. The one and only Sunil Gavaskar joining us here on the Indo-Pak Cricket Roundtable.